We are live in YouTube land, and we have the esteemed Carissa Grant over from Worthy Chaos, also with Charter Comics as well now. So that's a change since the last time we've had Carissa on the channel. As you guys know, we love Charter Comics because all the boys and the girls over there, most of them are local, what makes it easy for me. We always hang out and do things, but I'm glad to see you join up with Chris and McLean and everybody, Ken and Lori. So great group of people. But thank you for coming back on another show.
Thanks for having me. What issue was I on when I was on last time? Must have been a while.
It was like four. I think it
Yeah,
was three or four, but way back when.
yeah. Now we're on 7, man.
It is. And you've actually got the Kickstarter going right now for 7.
Yeah, we
Uh,
just granted Tuesday. Tuesday we started it. So yeah, 4 days, 3 days. I don't know how many. I don't even know what day it is. Is it Friday?
it is Friday. Friday's my stream days.
I was like, it's either Friday or Saturday. I'm thinking it's Friday. I have Mondays and most Fridays off, so I get lost whenever the day is. I don't know what time or day it is or whatever. But yeah, now we're in 7. This is the final issue in book 1. So a lot of things get answers, and a lot of things get more questions. But it is a large 38-page story. Like it's 38 pages of a story. It's not like extra pictures or whatever. It's actually a long story. Um, so there was a lot to tell. There's a lot to tell in it. So I'm excited for everyone to read it and check it out. And all those glossy pages. This is a thick book. This is the thickest one yet. So
I
I mean,
can't wait.
most of mine are big. Don't get me wrong. They're
Mm.
28 to usually the average is 28 to 32 pages.
Mhm.
So, and I don't charge more than other indies. So I just figure that's my fault for having such a long story. Like it's like issue in book 2, chapter 1, it started as 28 pages. I was so proud of myself. I was like, I'm going to try to do all 28 pages. It was 28 pages, and then I went back and read it. I was like, oh, this is a zombie fight. This is going to have bigger panels. I want to see the blood splatter. And this one has giant salamanders. It's got to be bigger. So now it's 32 pages. So it didn't last long on the 28 page circuit, but we'll try for the next one.
And that's actually bigger than most books. So most people start out 24, maybe get to 28
Yeah.
depending on what it has. Now, the difference is of course indie doesn't have a whole lot of ads in it. That's what
No ads. I don't have any. I think the only ad we have is like the inner back cover that no one reads anyway.
Yep. And that's what I love about it. It's like it's either, it's the ads on the last part, or you have some pinups or some black and white, or like something extras in the back, which is always fun to see.
Yeah.
But it's an actual book. It's not just 12 pages of ads, which equals 12 pages of actual story.
Yeah, it's a little different. And mine are the 80-pound glossy pages, so they're pretty thick. The only time we have anything, I rather spread out pages and pay like a couple hundred extra to spread out the panels. But once in a while, we'll have a short book. Book 5, I think, is my shortest. It was 24 pages, and that was the shortest. And then all the other ones have been 28 to 38. And book 2, we have a double issue. Book issue 6 and 7 got merged. So it's 58 pages. So that one is huge because I wanted to end on Halloween again, because Halloween is my anniversary for the making comics.
Mm-hmm.
This Halloween's gonna be my 1 year in comics. So I'm super excited about that. And then I did the same for the next year. However, if we make it to book 3, which is obviously my goal, I have 5 books. Book 3 is 10 issues. So I won't be able to follow suit unless I combine everything. And I probably can't afford to do that. It would be nice, though, to just have it again. But all the rest of the books are longer. They're like 10 to 14 issues. So, whoops. I don't know. It's, converting it from my novels to the story has its benefits and its, negatives, obviously, because I know where I want to end. So it's like,
Mm,
oh, I really want this to be the end, especially book 3. Everything, it ends on a crazy cliffhanger every time because there's so much stuff that happens in book 3. So yeah, I know where I want to end. And then I'm just like, how many panels is this going to take? And my artist, if you've read my issues,
mhm.
he takes liberty in panels. And, I only list like 4 panels and he turns them into like 9. So I never know how a page is going to look until I get it. And then I'm like, oh, I kind of want bigger panels for that one. Or, I have more monsters in this one. So it's all a guessing game. But it's a lot of fun. We butt heads the first issue we did together because I had, normal panels of like 6, 6,
Oh yeah.
and he wanted to do these fancy things, and I didn't understand what he was trying to do, and I was like, well, you have to follow the panels, like I don't know what you're doing. And then I realized his genius is more better than mine, so I was like, all right, I'll cut back my panels, and it's worked so much better. I do 3 to 4 now, and we don't have a lot of dialogue, like a lot. We have a lot of action, so
Mhm.
if there's a lot of dialogue, like 7 has some dialogue, that's probably why it's 30 pages. There's some dialogue, explanations, and stuff, but there's still action in there. And but yeah, we just we have big panels, big action, big stuff. So yeah, good times.
So with this being book 1, does that mean like your physical book 1 novel will be all inclusively done with issue 7, or does that mean that there's something that might move to like say issue 8 when
Nope,
it comes out?
the hardcover will be 1 through 7. It's 222 pages.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then book 2 would be the about the same amount of pages, but 6 issues. So yeah,
Have you ever thought about actually releasing just the novel versions versus the comics? Like maybe
no.
have.
No, it's tricky because I wrote it with a co-writer. So it's a role play method. So you'd have to like merge the whole story and you'd ruin it. And that's actually how we came to make comics, because when we originally wrote, we have 5 novels, and they're not short novels. An average novel is about 70 to 90,000 words, and ours is 90 to 130,000 words. So we have 5 of them, and we had contacted an editor, and the editor's like, you'd have to merge everything into, together, because how the story is written is I write a chapter, and I write everything
Mhm.
Serafina, and then my co-writer will write everything for Draven. So it's split in 2. So we decided, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to ruin the story. And then I was like, I'll just print it for us. We'll just print
Mhm.
the story if through lulus.com or something. And when I was trying to find an artist to do the cover for us as like celebration in our books being done, I asked my co-writers, these are all cartoony. Do you want cartoony? Do you want realistic? Because, when we were role playing, we had actors in mind.
Mhm.
And my co-writer's like, yeah, cartoony's fine, whatever. And I was like, a light bulb went off. I was like, well, you don't mind cartoony. Let's try a comic book. And I said the infamous words, how hard can it be? It's the hardest thing I've
Uh-huh.
ever done. Hardest
Exactly.
thing I've ever done. It cost me a fortune. It's super intricate and everything. I absolutely love it. I feel like it was meant to be a comic. I have been asked for the novels, but it's probably never going to happen. I'm also not a very good writer.
You're doing well.
I'm an amazing storyteller, and it works very well with comics. And I do dialogue very well. Which is one of the things I didn't know that was hard. Like everyone's like, "Oh, your dialogue's so great. That's the hardest part of comics." And I was like, "Really?" Because the hardest part was fitting it all in a panel. Like I was like, when I first wrote it, when I first did my first script, I sent it to the letterer, and the letterer's like, "Did you want to see any art, or did you want all dialogue?" And I was like, "Oh." So I had to like spread everything out. So my first script literally turned out to be like 3. That's how much dialogue I have. So yeah, I learned the hard way that you have to see art.
Yeah, because you got to be able to like tailor the language towards what you're wanting to do and seeing like how the flow of it goes too.
Yeah, it was a little tricky. And it's somebody the other day asked me like, how much do I take out from the novel? Nothing. Like I barely take out anything. Hence the 50 issues that are written. But yeah, I didn't take out, I think I took out like maybe 3 scenes, you know. Like since they're split and sometimes they do separate things, I sometimes only write one side for the comics. You know, you don't really need to see what's happening on the other side. You figure it out and all that. And I took out a lot of thoughts, you know, because you know that's a lot of thought. We have a lot of thought bubbles and balloons in ours. Because you know it's like a novel. It's supposed to be like a novel comic, you know. And the old time comics had, you know, the thought bubbles, but they were like exposition, you know. So you didn't really get that into the head, into the characters' heads, which is my favorite part of a novel. So I do love that. I got asked today in another interview, what do you think comic books should have more of? And I was like, I'd love more thought bubbles. You know, I'd love to get inside the character's head and what they're thinking, and that's my favorite part. But probably not everyone's into that but me. But I read paperbacks, you know. That was my thing. I haven't read comics since like the 90s, you know. Ghost Rider.
And that was the last time they really did. Like, I mean, you think about graphic novels from back then when they came out, like Alan Moore would do that, you know. If you just read Watchmen, you know that, you know, every panel is a thought that Rorschach is thinking about something, you know, Asmodeus is doing this, you know, Swamp Thing, you know. And that's why I really tailor a lot of things like to Alan Moore, because he really made you think outside the bubble of the normal, you know. And then you start seeing, okay, Jim Lee started doing some of that with X-Men in the late 80s. Batman was starting to do it with Jim Aparo, you know. But that's really a lost art, you know. Is the only person that still does it is Deadpool. If you know, ironically, you know,
Yeah.
it's like by breaking the fourth wall, telling you what he actually thinks, what he's doing. But like the boys tried to incorporate some of that, and some of it made sense, some of it did not, you know. And it's because
Yeah.
it's like when you stretch it so far, it's like, okay, I want to know what you're thinking, but not what you're thinking every 5 seconds.
Yeah, that would be a lot. I think Draven's, I wouldn't say he thinks less, but he gets a little more vocal the further you get into the book. So there is less thought bubbles. Um, but I think at the end, let me think. In chapter 2 of book 2, I think he thinks the most because he's struggling with an immense thing, that something that Serafina said to him, and it makes him think. And so he does the most thinking in issue 5 when he's trying to get his feelings across and fails miserably, and like horribly. You know, he's trying to think of how he feels about her, and he's like, I know how I feel, and I should just say it. And then he just winds up saying, "Don't leave," and that's pretty much all. That's as romantic as my character gets. Don't leave. And in issue 2, you know, she went to do something in another room, and he's thinking a lot about it. But at the end of that issue, she's which I can't wait for. She's fighting zombies in a towel, so I'm all ready for that one.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah. I was like, that would be interesting to have like the zombie trying to pull down a towel or something. But yeah, awesome.
Well, and the fun part is that the way the story's going, you know, we're not going to spoil it, you know, for anybody that's not read it, but
Yeah.
we're on the book 7, which is really, I mean, when you think about how many books you put out in 1 year,
And
that
the first one was redone. So technically there was 8.
correct.
Money wise and releasing wise, there was 8. But and I'm so glad we did redo one. I mean, that was worth losing $5,000 over, and it sucks to lose that, but man, is it worth it to have them all matching, and especially when you release that, you know, the hardcover and they're all the same. We had to go back. Oh, my artist he wanted to kill me. It's not my fault. But when he first came on, he did book issue 2. So when he did issue 1, he learned more about lettering. You know, he was new. It was his first comic job, and he had never done it before. So I told him, I was like, listen, you're going to kill me and I'll pay you extra, but you have to redo all the font and bubbles, balloons, whatever, in issue 2. And it took him like 3 days. It was like, he's like, I was horrible at this in issue 2. He's like, this is awful. Because it wasn't until after that he actually started learning. Like, he looked it up, and I bought him books, and he started learning it. So he redid them all, but he was just like, yeah, this had to be redone. They were just, you know, so there is some things that are upgraded, remastered in the hardcover. We actually had we had a new editor, or an additional editor, from issue 4 up. And that editor, Lori, went and redid the editing for 1 through 3. So we re-edited 1 through 3, and redid all the font in issue 2, and also redid 3 or 4 panels that bugged me from the like it was I was a wuss in the beginning. He was new, he was getting the hang of the characters, and the more I looked at it, the more it bugged me, and everyone else loved it. They were fine with it, but it just bugged the hell out of me. So he redid those panels for me, and they look so much better. So that was pretty much so it's a little bit upgraded. I wish I had done more after I had sent it to the printer or whatever. My brother's like, oh, because I'm working on issue 0, which is the point of view of the characters. He's like, oh, you should have included that in the hardcover. I was like, damn it. But next time, and maybe I'll include it in like the box set, at the end, like just do a nice box set and 0-1s in there. But yeah, I'm working on a issue 0 that's right before issue 1, where you get to see the point of view of all the other characters that are making 1 happen, like the pulling the strings. You see Davies, which is no one probably even realized how important he is. He was in issue 1 for like 1 page. He was there when Draven got arrested for the murders, and he's like, that's the guy. But he actually had a huge hand in it. He actually has a huge part in the story. So you see his point of view, and he's actually the one that started everything pretty much. And then you see how he manipulates, Remnal and Asmon and Kemiel, and he does all this behind the scenes. So you get to see the point of view of Davies, Remnal, Kemiel, Asmon, Anubis. He doesn't talk, but he's dealing with a lot. And there's a point of view for Hecate and Hades in the underworld, because her daughter is in it too, Cersei. So you get to see all these point of views. So I'm working on that, and I'm probably going to release it like in sections and then print it off maybe at the end of next year or something. But there's so much going on in book 2, and they're all in different environments. So all the books connect, but they switch where they are. So like book 1, issue 1 through 7, you have them in like the Silent Hill. You find all the characters, and you learn what's going on. And then at the end of book 1, they go into, book 2. So you have book 2 where they're in the haunted asylum and all that stuff, and they're trying to get out, and the ghosts and zombies and salamanders. And then book 3 is the trapped in a haunted, in the infested zombie city. And then it moves on to the island. So everything's in their own environments. Cause I've been asked like, oh, are these 5 different books? They're different, scenarios, but it's the same connection, different
same characters, same, it's all tied together.
Yeah, it's just they're just moving on to the next phase, if you want to. That's kind of how I separated them through phases. That's why, book 3 is 10 issues, because that's when that story section ends. And that one's a tricky ending, but yeah. So a lot happens. I've been told to have the most action. And the sad part is, or the better part, I don't know, is there's actually like 3 times more action in book 2. So they're running from everything, they're fighting everything, and all that. So, but this book is you get to learn a little bit more into the characters. You get to see the angel and demon fight, which is things that people look forward to. Of course, you've got Anubis and the Hellhounds, and things come out about their past and what's going on. Hey, Pops. Pops is visiting.
Hey.
Awesome. Pops always likes to come and support me and yell at me and whatever needs to be done.
He does good. I mean, he's always in with Lori and us too. So
yeah, because Pops is the best.
That's right.
And, he's been there since the beginning, since the first artist. And I actually met him 2 days before my first one ended. My first Kickstarter ended. And I didn't even know this guy. Like, I had no idea who he was. And the first thing he says is, "What am I supposed to do with 2 days? Now I got to bust my ass to get this out there." And I was like, "Who is this guy, and why does he care that my book needs to get out there?" But he did. He's the reason why I think I am where I am, because I never even did videos before I met Lori and Pops. So now I've done 135 by the end of this month.
That's good. The more you
Yeah,
do, well, and that's actually the thing. The more you do, the easier it gets over time. You
it
know, you
does.
get more comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't. I mean, I'm trying to redo. I don't know if you know, keeping it. Is it Keeping It Geekly with Cody? I think
Mm,
that's what it's called.
yeah.
So he's actually the first video I ever did. And it was awful. It was awful video, awful art. It was the first story, and first artist. And I've been trying to get on that show to redo it so that he would stop sharing that one. But like, it's just hasn't happened, and it gets rescheduled and things happen, and it just sucks. But yeah, he was the first one I ever did, and I can't even imagine. I can't even watch it. It's so cringy for me to watch that. So but I did a couple of new ones. I mean, a couple of that I used to do. My first campaign with this artist, which was like January, February, or something like that. So I went on those shows again for the first time since then, and they're like, "You are completely different now than when then." I was like, "Yeah, I can ramble way more, way louder now." So yeah, I got a little bit more comfortable. So I went from not wanting to be on a show ever because I was worried to now doing 134. So I think I did a
See,
little better.
and that's within a year. So I mean, that's
That's
the
the whole
thing.
area.
You know, your confidence has gone way up, which is good. You know, and that's why I told Lori, I said, you know, if you and Lori were together, like say at a convention, it would be a fun time. You know, like we had fun with William. I mean, we had pretty much all the charter crew there, but you and a couple of other people. And I'm like, you know, we just need to have a charter convention at one point.
Yeah.
Just have everybody together and do it because, like, you know, Rick was there, Lori was there, William was there, Ken was there, Zach was there. I was like, dude, this is awesome. That's why I love Cowtown for that reason.
Yeah.
It's like it's all the local yokels and charter. Then we get some other people on top of it, and it's fun.
The goal is next year for me to go. Lori said I could stay with her, and that's my goal for next year. I do not like cons, but I think that with Lori it would be a lot more fun, and everyone there. I know Rick and everyone. Also, I think that the hardcover is going to be a little bit easier to sell. Um, so I'm going to try again with those because the floppies are a little bit trickier. You have to convince people to buy them more than the hardcover. So we'll see how it works out. Um, but yeah, my goal is Texas next year, so we'll see how that goes. And I don't know which convention yet. It's either going to be Cowtown or Horror One or something there. But I'll work that out. This year I had like 10, and I just like I was like I would I had to schedule them all before I even had a book out. So like I had no idea how hard they were going to be, and then I was doing them. I was like, I think the only one I really really liked and did very well at was Nashville. Like I don't know if
Mm.
it's because local or whatever, but I absolutely I don't want to say killed it, but I made over 300, which I've never done before. So and they all bought except for two. That's how many bought the sets of one. I only bring three, which Pops it wasn't Pops that yelled at me. Who yelled at me? Oh, the comic book guy at the store owner yelled at me. And he's like, "You're supposed to bring all of them." I was like, "I am not carrying 7 books to a con." I mean, I bring 1 through 3, and then they can they can work on a Kickstarter because I have a Kickstarter every other month.
Every
So
other month, yeah.
I mean, my last one ended 3 weeks ago. So I thought for sure like this one might not do as well because I mean it's literally only been 3 weeks. But yeah, I bring 1 through 3, and the rest are I bought so many of 1 through 3. I bought like 500 each, so I'm more likely to hand those out.
Yeah.
But the rest I buy like on demand, like whenever Kickstarter ends, I buy what I need and I go from there. But yeah, it's different. But Nashville is great, and I think with Lori there, she's way better at it than I am. I mean, she can pitch. She can pitch to like someone that can't even read, and they'd buy it. It's like
She does. I've seen it in action. I was there with her. I was talking to Rick because Rick was right next to Lori this during Cowtown, and she was selling it to this family who never even knew anything about it. and
See?
saw the whole series, like 1 through 4, and the book with it.
Oh
And
yeah.
at that point, I'm like, you know what? I want the book too. How like the little trap, it's the little journey book, that she's got.
Oh, well, choose your own adventure.
Yeah,
That
exactly. I
way
was like,
about
I
that.
want that, because I've got all of her other Path of the Pale Rider
Yeah.
stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I need that one. I don't have that one. She's like, oh
How
yeah,
could
you
you
do.
not get choose your own adventure? Yeah, she told me the other day, she's like, I went to the bank and I sold 3 copies. And I was like, how do you sell a copy at a bank? And she's like, they're fans. They're just fans. And I was like, okay. So
Well, the
there's
thing
that.
is Texas is known for 2 things, right? We're everything's bigger in Texas, and we have a lot of cows, right? And so that
Yeah.
means there's a lot of cowboys, which means there's a lot of rodeos, which means a lot. If you have a cowboy story, guess what? It's going to sell pretty easily here.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to put a cowboy in mine, which actually happens in the prequel, because they go through every life together, and the last one is in cowboy era. So I do get to have Draven in cowboy outfit then. I don't know when I'll be able to do that. I'm actually working on the Origins now, which is before the prequel, which is a story with Remnal, Asmon, and Anubis, because all 3 of them have souls, that they're souls. And they're mostly going to steal it from Anubis, which is why this whole thing, this little feud between them all go. So I'm actually excited to write that. I'm going to work on that this weekend, because my co-writer has a broken hand. Hopefully for only 2 more weeks. It's been killing me not getting chapters. It's like, and I can't write anymore. I am 3 chapters ahead. My co-writer owes me the end of the spinoff, the end of the book. It's 8.5 thousand words. At the end of the spinoff, issue 5 or book 5, and then the series 2 on both series, it has to have a chapter done. So I can't write anymore, or my career to be like really far behind. So I'm like, well, I'm going to write the other direction, yeah. And I'm going to write the beginning, and then we'll work from there. So that'll be fun to do, and I get to start the creation of the angelic weapon and all that stuff, and how the characters came to be, and I get to choose all their deaths in their past life, which is awesome. So
see, that would be a cool trade paperback. Like have the prequel with Salvation and Zero. I'll put all that together in one book. That'd be a fun one, right? Because if you have that hardcover or that trade paperback, and then you have the first, trade paperback or hardcover 1 through 7, that's a good segue books. Then okay, you got the prequel, you got volume 1. Well, here's volume 2 coming out, so make sure you click on the Kickstarter for this volume 2.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do. It's kind of gonna be like the Origins, and it's kind of gonna skip some of their lives, so it's gonna be like the origins of everything, and then it'll be like right before you go into issue 1. Like what happens? Why is she on the floor? Kind of thing. Why is Draven not there, and why is he out? Which you get an idea. So with the spinoff, it's a what if. What if one thing changed the night before? That's why all that happened. And they have that 10-year separation, and the spinoff, they run away like they were supposed to. So you have like a whole different spinoff, and we have 45 issues written for that one. So it's like a whole other series. But yeah, there's so much to tell, and so much is already written. There's already 100 issues written, and my artist was upset when I said, oh, it's too bad you can't do the spinoff. He's like, why can't I do the spinoff? And I was like, you've got like 7 years worth of stuff right now. And by then you'll have series 2 and hopefully the prequel and all that stuff. So, but I said, if he wants to clone himself, he's more likely to, he go for it. And I love his art, and I got super lucky when I found him. And now for book 2, we added a colorist, Matt Chambers, which is the same colorist that Lori uses.
Yep, I know Matt.
He's a huge Resident Evil fan, so he was super excited to start this, and he's doing a phenomenal job already. I mean, the giant salamanders in 2 are just look god awful. They're awesome. And they're very gross, and you have the zombies and straitjackets, which I absolutely adore. And that's going to be a plushie too, by the way. We already have in the works. Every book I have 2 new monsters. You'll always have Anubis, and the Hellhound sold out already for this campaign. But I'll probably have more for book 2. But we want 2 new monsters per book. So this one was the skeleton bird and the zombie merman. Book 2 is going to be the giant salamander, and we have a zombie in a straitjacket plushie being made because you just had to. And my creator, my plushie queen, as I call her, she goes, "Do you want working straitjacket where you can unbuckle it?" And I was like, "If you can make that happen, I want that." Like I would love to just have, it hanging, just, like he just undid it or whatever. So I'm super excited about that. And book 3 is going to have probably the giant crocodile, zombie crocodile, and probably our Reaper. We'll have to see, or the werewolf. I don't know. We'll see. There's so many to do. It's hard to decide which I want to do. So, but yeah.
All right, I'm going to bring it up here so everybody can see what we're talking about. So we are at $1,354 as of right now.
Woo-hoo.
So already funded, 45 backers, and we just started this week, so that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I do 27-day ones, so that's why it's 24. Because I wanted to end on Halloween to celebrate my 1 year. I have issues.
We all do,
right?
We all do, but the biggest thing is the way you do it, though, makes it so much easier for everybody else. One, the price is amazing, for what you get for the book and with shipping and everything else. Because some people charge so much just for, the cost of the book.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people have $10 shipping. I was like, it does not cost $10 to ship one issue.
No.
Like, I can get, I think I can get 5 issues for under 8. No, I think I got 8 issues for under 5. So really, I don't know how they can charge $10. And I gift wrap all mine. So they have no excuse. I got yelled at by Rick. He's like, "That's a woman thing." He's like, "No guy cares that it's gift wrap." I was like, "Shut up."
I will tell you, I buy stuff from Wendy Shaner, Ni Rufino, and they always wrap it, and it feels like you're opening a present.
That's the point. So it initially started to protect the books because when my first campaign, I just put them in the box, and I was like, I don't know, that they feel exposed. So I'm like, I'm gonna get some tissue paper, and I'm just gonna put it in there. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna tape it up, and then I was like, oh, I want to gift wrap. So then I gift wrapped it because I figure you get that dopamine hit by ripping it open.
Yep.
So yeah, I like it. So he can bite me.
That's right. You keep doing you. That's the main thing.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So this is the main cover from my artist. It's actually that no one's probably going to get because it's kind of obscure, but it's actually an homage to a Supernatural poster where they're all around this gateway, and there's the car at the bottom. Which I love that car. Yeah, it's going to be again in book 3. I don't think it's in book 2 because they're in the asylum the whole time. But I love that car. And I'm mad because it can't be at the beginning of book 3 because something that happened. So I was like, well, I'm not destroying the car. So
oh, come on.
Yeah.
You got to pull, a Dean, destroy it, then rebuild it.
I could totally see Draven, just like getting a crowbar. He's always got a crowbar. So yeah, I could see that. So this one, of course, is the angels fighting. And it's the first time they're on the cover. So it's a little bit different. But it was kind of cool to see them fighting. And that was I think that was actually Rick's idea. Because I suck at picking cover ideas. I really do. I love getting variant covers so that I can just be like, to tell the artist do whatever they want to do. So I don't have to think about it. But yeah, so
demons versus angels. That's the thing. You don't get better than that.
Okay, so this is a debate between Lori and I. For anyone that wants to help the debate, this is the scratches one. It's artistically with scratches, which Lori likes. If you scroll down, there's no scratches. So we're at war at which one's going to win. Because I like no scratches. I think no scratches is pretty, which I guess doesn't sound very, horror filled. But it's dark and it's clear and it's pretty. So she goes for scratches. But right now I'm winning because it's 2 scratches and 5 no scratches. So I am in the lead so far. I actually posted it on Facebook because if she can't give me it, if she doesn't agree with me on when I have a debate, I have to do a poll. So I did a poll with my 5,000 followers on Facebook and 5,000 followers on Twitter X, and they were so down the middle. And not only were they down the middle, they were adamant about their side. You know, like I have someone being like, "Oh, the no scratches is clear and dark and whatever," and then you have the same guy being like, "No, the scratches fit the story because it's a violent story and all this stuff." So it was so adamant. I was like, "I'm just gonna have to do them both." So now we're having a debate on which one's gonna win.
I'm gonna go with Lori. I like the scratches ones.
Yep, I'm telling.
You can tell. I'm with Lori on this one. I like this. I always like a battle damage cover. And to me, that's why I like it. I like the style.
Yeah, I know it was a hard choice, but I love the no scratches.
The cool part is that you give everyone the option. You know, if they want either one.
It was so split that I didn't really have a choice. And for the 3 covers one, which is the $45 tier, the default is scratches, because that's what Lori chose. So that's the default, but they can message me and switch it, or they can buy no scratches in the add-ons, which so far both have done. So the 2 people that have bought, so they don't count because it evens out. So each book has an Easter egg, by the way. And when the hardcover comes out, there's a contest of whoever can post all the Easter eggs gets a 3D printed Anubis. This is one of the Easter eggs that's the hardest one on this page. So, so I can tell it on this show. So if anyone watches them show, they'll know, because it's the hardest one. It is the Krull blade, that's the handle from the Krull blade. Yep. I can't say it right. It's like the Gave or Garv or Gave. I started with the
Gave. Yep.
Yeah. So that is and I was like, half the people aren't going to get it. So I think so far only 2 interviews I've told, Lori's and yours. So that's the Easter egg for that one. That's the hardest one, because one is the alligator. I tell everyone what one is. That's what started everything, is me seeing the alligator on Resident Evil. And then the rest they're there. Hey, we were just talking about you.
Rick. Rick will be on my channel on Monday.
Listen to him. Give Corissa your money.
That's right.
Thank you. Yeah,
definitely. But I look at my list of people I buy from. It's really from 3 companies. Literally, it's Coffin, Ethereal, and Charter. So if I'm not giving my money to you guys, that means I'm broke. And with your prices on books, there's no excuses.
Why, thank you. I appreciate that. And plus, people can always get the PDF, though it's not the same. I like PDFs, but nothing beats holding these freaking comics. But I will say, I just realized we passed the stretch goal for the PDFs. Correct. So now if you buy even a $5 PDF, you get 20 PDFs that I have, 4 new ones for returning backers and 20 new ones for new people. So
let's get down there so we could show them everything.
And there's a ton of add-ons. We have pins this time, coloring books, 3D statues. And I just got approval file from my keep going, the stretch goals are almost there.
Yeah.
There's a lot. That's our song. Yeah. You can get our song. Which, by the way, we have a new song coming for book 2. And that's our stretch goals. There's 20.
And so there's Rick's book. Here's Laura's book.
Yep.
Charter. Then you got
book, and that's Paul's PTS, Night Wolf. Yeah, there's a Fields.
Man. There's Max's with Mary Machine Gun. So that's Atrocity Press. I know those guys well. We got Blood and Fire, which is good. Exodus Z is kind of a fun one to read if you've not read it. And then, of course, Roadkill Rampage. I mean, that's actually one that it's got a lot of artists, like big artists on Roadkill Rampage.
Yep.
So, I mean, this
is you have nothing to lose. So if you just want to buy a $5 PDF, which, by the way, gets you the black and white and the color version for mine, then you get all those PDFs. So you've got nothing. You have no reason to not bag it.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Ah,
All right. Let's see. What's our next stretch goal? 2,200. Everybody gets the card.
yep. And we have actually really cool stretch goals. So the next stretch goal is a magnet of Anubis and Croc, which is our Hellhound. But the next one is our Anubis army men. They're not 3D printed. They are literally plastic little army men like you used to play with back in the day, or Toy Story for those that are newer.
I don't know. I probably still have Army Men somewhere in a box from when I was a kid.
Yeah, they're all over. I don't think you can get rid of them. I think they're just always there.
You find them, and then the worst kind is when you would step on them with your foot by accident.
Oh, look at these. Can you imagine stepping on those? You kill yourself.
Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna hurt. Yeah. I mean, it's like when I step on my kids' Legos, same way.
Yep. So yeah, okay. And then if you go to the bottom, you have recommendations too. For Lori is live right now. I think 10 more days. She has 100 backers. And I think Ray's is there. I don't know if you know Ray, but he's got an awesome. There's Path of the Pale Rider. I back that one. I got the patch. I'm dead inside.
Well, and that's the one she found too, because she was showing me the other day. I'm like, I want that patch too.
And that looks familiar. That would be Rick's.
That's Rick's.
And this is the Roku.
Go do that. Everybody jump in on his.
I'm gonna do that. Yeah. And that's my banner, so I get 10% off.
And Comics Wellspring has been doing actually really good. I've heard only good things from them. As far as their timing too. Like their timing's been really well.
Oh, I do. So I pay extra for the 2 to 6 day print. So my books get out within a week. Last campaign, I screwed up last campaign because I didn't have enough rewards, or I could have got more out, but I got 22 books out the day of it ending. And then a week later, I got the rest out when the variants, I don't buy variants because I don't know how they're going to do. And with my luck, I'll be like one short. So I don't buy variants, but I do have, pretty much most of the regular cover. And then I just have to buy the variants. Something we do that a lot of people don't do, but they copy me, is now I have issue 1 as a PDF or a print. That way, if someone new's coming in, you don't have to get the catch-up tier, though I highly recommend it because you get a lot of stuff. But if someone doesn't want to take a risk, you get PDF 1 for $5, and all the back issues and all the variants are actually on the add-ons. So you can catch up really, really fast. And there's, issue 1. Every single tier comes with the PDF of the issues that you're buying.
And, even the catch-up tier is inexpensive. Like it's, compared to some like where you have to spend $20, $30 per book. Yeah. And then that adds up real fast.
Yeah, mine's $59 for 7 issues and 14 PDFs plus all the goodies that it comes with. And there's the catch-up tier in PDF, 20 issues.
Yep.
And this is the mini catch-up tier. So if everyone just wants a taste, it's $25. And this is a new thing. It is huge. I put large, but it is huge. This is the very cool embroidered bookmark. It's got the embroidery. I love embroidery. I got it for me. But there's a little skulls and everything. So yeah, this is the bookmark. There's only I think 5 available because I kept one. So 5 available.
I might change mine just to get that one. I like that one. I'm a stickler for things that are different than normal Kickstarters.
I will say, you probably can't see it from here, but the stitching is just phenomenal. I mean, look at the tiny stitching. I mean, he just looks so freaking cool and so well done. And that's why it's bigger, because it's a collectible. I mean, you can use it, especially with a hardcover. But yeah, it's a gorgeous bookmark, and it's all our character and everything. So yeah, I'm proud of the bookmark. I kept that one. My mom bought one. So yeah, I highly recommend that one because they probably won't be made that much longer. And I do have one 3D statue too. That's the last one there. But I have new ones. I have 2 new ones. I have ours that which is the cute angry Anubis, which is actually the same pose that you saw. Mm-hmm. And then I have this one, which is new for this campaign. This is a really cool 6-inch bust of
Mm.
Anubis. It's primed and ready to be painted. I'm leaving mine this way, but I might paint one too. I might get another one printed. I just got approval for a Hellhound 3D printing file, which I'm thrilled. So I'm definitely getting that done. He's going to print me some, hopefully for I'll have that for book 2. So I'm excited about that. I have so much merch. What you see is about 40% of what I actually have. So
Well,
I
and
just
let's
can't.
show them what you have, because you have a lot in
I
add-ons
have a
for
lot.
that
Yeah,
too.
I do.
So
So yeah, so there's the bookmark, which is priced pretty well for the bookmark. Then we have the Lego Anubis with our own 3D printed staff. You can't get it as an add-on anymore. They're very rare, and so yeah, and he can hold it. Like I thought for sure when I ordered these little staffs, I had them, my friend 3D printed them, and I was like, "There's no way it's gonna hold it." Yeah, it holds it perfectly. Um,
nice.
yeah, it worked perfectly. So that worked out well.
And I like the coin.
Oh yeah. So yeah, the I have a ton of those. I love the shiny coins. I have silver ones too. I haven't added them to this yet. But I just love the shiny coins, and I'm a sucker for shiny. And here's to get all the covers. Well, the first 3 covers. And the PDF, and the signature comes signed. And you can add a signature to anything in the add-ons. It's like $5, and you get to pick where it's signed. And here's the ketchup tier, which is, I think, very well priced, because pretty much that's how much it cost me to
Yeah,
print them.
exactly. I was going to say, I mean, if you're looking at, okay, there's 7 books here.
Yeah.
That's less than $10 per book, and
Yeah.
you get the pens, the stickers, and the
You get
cards.
two buttons, a keychain, a 3D rubber keychain, trading card, sticker, and then all the PDFs. So yeah, it's a good deal.
I mean, that's a damn good deal.
It is my most popular tier. Now, this is the last one of this one. It's the Black Anubis. And I don't know, the printer like disappeared with my file. So that's the last one. And that sold really well too. But I like mine better. So if you scroll down, not that I'm saying not to buy that one, because that's a cool one, but I love this one. This is the 6-inch one. In the add-ons, you can get a 3D one, wheat fried 1-inch. And they are super tiny. I might be just giving them away for like, at the con or something. And there's the bust one. I think there's 10 of those, and at least one is sold. And I like that one too. I like everything. I have one of everything. So there's
There's a
2
plushy.
more. Yeah, 2 more plate, and they're not small. This is, and they're all handmade. So this is the 3D at the 3D. This is a skeleton bird from issue 3, and it will be again in book 4, because they're on the island and these things are everywhere. So yeah, and he's got his little tail and his, everything. So this is one of my favorites. So there's 2 left of these, and then the next one down is Anubis, which there's 2 left. I think I've sold 8. And this is the Anubis that we have. So he comes with his own 3D staff. He's all hand done. He's got his little outfit and gems and stuff. He's more collectible than the other ones. You can hug the Hellhound, which is sold, but I'll bring them back if people want them. I only buy. This is how it works. I buy 3. I buy one for me, one for my co-writer, and then one to sell. That makes it tax deductible. So yeah, but he's a fan favorite, so he'll probably be back. But he's got his own little mane going. And these are huggable. You can, sleep with these or whatever. He's got little printed paw things on the bottom. But yeah, Anubis is more collectible. This is my emotional support Anubis. He always comes on every single show with me to support me.
And that's kind of nice. Like, I mean, even with everything that you get, I mean, you think about, like, you're getting the book, you're getting Anubis, you're getting the sticker, the coin, the bookmarks,
those are metal bookmarks too.
Correct. I mean, I got one. I got one during the last one you did. And it's like $95. That's a good deal.
Yeah, these are hand done, and they're limited edition. They're not going to be around forever. So, and this is the metal cover, which it looks phenomenal in metal. And it comes with the metal bookmark. It comes with the 3 metal trading cards. I couldn't get the words. I do have 5 trading cards as add-ons, but those aren't in it. Those are only available for this one for now. And then this just got sold. So I have 2 tiers that are sold out. Yeah, he got sold. And there was only one made. I don't even have one, so I'm a little upset he got sold. But yeah, he's the only one. Now there's a skeleton bird that I have that's supposed to be for sale, and I've kept it, so I don't know if anyone's gonna ever see that one. But I had one made of that one and one made of the zombie merman. So yeah, he got sold.
That's good though. Selling means money.
Good. Yeah, and I'm waiting for this one to be sold. There are only 2 made, and they'll never be made again because my clay artist, who I've been working with for 5 freaking years, does not like he does not like sculpting people, and I made him make these. So I own one, and then there's one for sale. And it's a special kind of clay, so it's very skin-like. And it's a pound of clay, so he did a phenomenal job. Yeah. That's actually how much I paid for the statue, was $150. So yeah.
And, you know, if you're paying that for the statue, plus you're getting everything with it,
Yep.
that's there.
And then that's my last tall Anubis. He's 12 inches. There won't be another one of those either. They're very expensive. They're all handmade, personally made, and all that stuff. So I own one of those. I sold one, and now that's the last one. And then this is the heavy metal tier. You get 7 issues and all the metal trading cards for ketchup tier. So everything's in metal. So yeah.
Now it says the no scratches cover for that sub.
Yeah, it looks better in metal. Yeah. The metal is extremely expensive. So I had the people that normally buy my metal covers, I had them vote on it, and they all chose no scratches. So yeah, it's the no scratches tier. And then you have the add-ons. Yeah, you have all the metal trading cards. We have prints. I never sell the prints, but I had I have a whole thing of it. So that's the Anubis. You can get every Anubis print that I have left. I think there's 10 available, and then this one is just the tier that I have left for those. So there's 2 available, but I think there's 10 left of those 2. And then pins are new this time.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Yeah, 2 acrylic and 2 metal. So a couple people already bought the metal ones. The acrylics are nice too. They're only $2 for those. The metal ones are $5, but they're just gorgeous. I love metal ones. And then we have a coloring book. For $5, you get both the digital and the printed, or for $2, you can just get digital, because somebody asked me for it, which I was really surprised that it sold. It sold some, because I was like, how do you color? How many people color digitally? But it sold a couple already. So yeah.
And then of course stickers. Yeah. Gotta have stickers.
Oh yeah.
And then we got the buttons. This is my favorite one that you did.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous one. You should see the metal trading card for that. It's just super shiny, and I love it. Ian Chase Nichols is an amazing guy. I mean, he really is. He needs an ego boost, because I tell him how amazing it is. He's like, yeah, it's all right. I was like, really? He worked on the Tick and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Red Sonja. He did my wraparound cover for the last issue, which came out amazing. So yeah.
Okay, so we've got the
that's a 1-inch miniature RPG Anubis, and you can paint it, but it's super tiny. It's prime and ready to go, but I'm just keeping mine white because it's just I'm not painting that.
That's too much. I mean, my hands are too big. I probably would smush it trying to do it.
Yeah. Lori's gonna try, but I don't know about that.
Okay, got the 3D resin, cute, angry Anubis.
Yep, that's the 3-inch one. You can only get the 6-inch in the tier, but you can get the little 3-inch one there.
All right, we got the hat. Gotta have a hat.
I love the hat. I wish I could have got more colors, but that was all they had at the time, and I'm hoping that they have more I can get later. I want to get an Anubis hat. That's the next goal. But I went on when they had a sale for hats, and every single color was sold out. I was like, well, every single color except for black, which I can't have an Anubis, black Anubis on a black hat. So
No, that won't work so well. I mean, if you had a white hat, that would look all right.
that was the goal, or like a light blue, like the
Mm.
inside of the angelic weapon. But yeah.
All right, so I see 4 to 6, but do you do 1 to 3 as well?
They're not made yet because I just started on issue 4. So if anyone buys the ketchup tier, then I'll have some.
Okay.
But I haven't bought them yet. Yeah. And plus 4 was the most popular cover. And 5 I have right here. It looks phenomenal in metal. It's shiny. See? Yeah, it came out gorgeous. So I will eventually have 1 through 3. But right now I just have the 4 through 6. Yeah. And then you have all the back issues with the regular cover. Those are all my artists. And then you have the back variants, which Laura's like, nobody does that. Nobody has back variants. It's like, yeah, but people want them.
Yep. Well, like the Ken Hunt one was a big one. I mean,
I sold the most of that one. That's the most popular. And I sent you the new cover, right, from the Resident Evil artist.
Yeah.
That one is just, it's gonna. I'm so excited to see that colored. But I might actually have the black and white available too because somebody wanted it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have the wood engraved, etched one for that too. Mm-hmm. But he did such an amazing job, and it's my most expensive cover, and it was worth every penny. But book 2, I have so many more artists come in because I had not thought of doing it before. So I have 2 Resident Evil artists that worked on the comic book. I have an Army of Darkness artist, interior artist. I have Buffy, Vampire Slayer comic artist from I think 9 or 10 season in comic books. And I'm working on getting a Silent Hill one and a Supernatural one. And Phil Hester, I think that's how you say it, Hester.
Phil Hester, yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on getting one from him, and he just wrote me and said to email him. So I'm going to email and see if I can ever afford him in my lifetime, and then hopefully I can get his. So he worked on Nightwing, which is one of my favorite characters. He worked on, there's a huge list, but the point is he worked on Supernatural.
Exactly. You get the dude who did Supernatural, get him to make you a cover.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, you won't be able to get Supernatural characters in your book because you know as well as I do the license would be freaking expensive to do that.
Well, if I'm ever rich and famous, which is never going to happen, I would get licensing for it and do like a crossover. But for now, I'll settle for the artist.
Exactly. So this one is one a lot of people might not know about. It's Salvation.
Yes. It'll be redone eventually. But what happened was an artist stole a lot of money from me. And when I was getting the police involved, they decided to beg me to somehow pay it back, even though they didn't have any money. So I said, you know what, do an issue from the spinoff so that I have it. And they did. So this is the spinoff. They did a great job. I like it a lot. And I'm hoping to get an artist to keep working on it. But yeah, it's a black and white version. It's issue 1 of the spinoff Salvation. So you get to see how they ran away that night and all that stuff. So yeah, it's kind of cool, and people have liked it. So I just kept it up. I think it started as a stretch goal, and then people still wanted it. So I figure there you go. And at least 2 or 3 people buy it every campaign. So I figure, why not?
Well, I mean, it just gives you more story. I mean, that's the thing. It gives you a different, like what happened. Yeah.
The good old fashioned what happened.
Keychain.
So this is our story. It's by Permissible Indulgence, which you can find on Spotify. Not this song, but you can find their other songs. This is the lyrics for it. The lyrics were written for our characters. It is the background music of the video. And for $3 on add-ons, you get the vocal version and the instrumental version. And the new song is about zombies, and that will be for book 2 release. So we're going to have a new one for each book now because that's the rule.
That is the rule.
That is the rule. That and a new slight animation. So for anyone that watches the video, we have Anubis from the book 1, and I already added, because that's the way I work. The ending is the cover to book 2 animated, because I absolutely adore it. So,
all right, well, let's play the video for them.
Right. You can tell I want it animated someday, right?
I do. I can see that. Oh.
It would look so good animated. That's all I gotta say.
It would, yeah, and that kind of reminds me, like, the old stop motion comics that we used to see. Like, you get like a disc, and it would be like, oh, that's cool. The arm goes up, and the leg goes up, but it's still the comic book, and it's like that's when you start thinking, like, animated comics would be great. And then guess who does that? Marvel and DC, and guess what? Now they make as much money off of their animated stuff as they do their movie stuff.
Yeah, that's someday. Hopefully, if I'm lucky. We'll see.
That's cool. And so we're at a pretty good spot, 1354. We got some weeks to go, so let's just pray and pray. 'Cause I want to see some of those stretch goals get hit. I really do. I like free stuff. I'm all about the free stuff.
Yeah, I try to be a little bit more creative this time because I mean, I do still do prints, but like I always do prints or buttons or something. It's like, what can I do that's unique? And then I was like, oh, these little army men. So I had to get those. And then I had the magnets and I bought like a ton of those. So I was like, I'll do those. So yeah, I'm hoping that we'll reach that. And we'll see. I don't know. We got a while to go.
So that means we come to the favorite question is okay, we've got 7 now. Are you going to do any more for the end of the year, or are you going to wait till January?
So 8 is pretty much done. There's 10 more pages to color, but all the lettering's done, everything. But it'll be released January 8th.
Okay.
Yeah, so issue 9 starts being drawn tomorrow. So we're gonna work on those 2, but yeah, we're just trying to get ahead so that I can keep up the pace of every other month. Yep, January 8th though is book 2, chapter 1. And then I think February 27th is chapter 2. So we have it all planned out for the year. Hopefully it goes, sometimes things don't go. But I don't start a campaign till it's in hand. So nobody has to worry about whether they're going to get their comics or not. So
yeah, and that's one thing I want to emphasize on is like as soon as you end your campaign, you're already shipping out.
oh yeah.
Like,
As soon as the payments go through, your book is pretty much in the mail.
Exactly. Like literally, I got a notification almost this day after. It was like,
yeah.
Hey, guess what? Your book's coming. What? I just paid for it. I'm like, that's how it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't get paid from Kickstarter for 2 weeks, but that's what credit cards are for. So yeah, got to get those books out. And I get so excited. Like I'm pretty lazy. Like I'm lazy as can be, but I get so excited packing these. Like when I had to wait 5 days for my variants to come in, I was like, oh, what am I going to do? And then they came in on a Friday night at 8:00, and Saturday by 11 a.m. they were all in the mail. So it's like, I got up really early and I worked for like 4 hours straight. And I was like, I just got to get these. And then carrying to the post office was not fun. I had 2 huge boxes and, everyone's holding the door for me. And I was just like, I'm just trying to get these in there. So yeah, it was the one time my husband's not here. He was away. Usually I force him to do it. I'm like, here, I'll send them in shifts every hour. Take this to the post office. So yeah, we like to get them out.
And I appreciate it. I know everybody else that backs it does appreciate that, especially when you're like anxious to get the new story, which is why, the digital is always good for people that if they want to just keep the book because they like the cover, and don't open it. Great. But the digital is good. Like, and for me, I do, a lot of traveling back and forth. So for me, digital is definitely a lot easier than carrying a bunch of books with me.
Yeah, I know a lot of creators. I think they're starting now because they're copying me. But a lot before they didn't offer the PDF with the with the tier. I'm like, it doesn't cost you really anything to add it. So I like to give the option and I do have some people that wait for the actual in hand to read it. But I have other ones that, like you said, are dying for the story. Which is a great ego boost for me that they want to read it so bad. I had one person message me and say, I read it 7 times, when's the next one? I was like, in like 2 weeks. It's like, you got 2 more weeks to go. So they get out pretty fast. I've had some people say that, money wise, it's tough doing it every other month. And then I have other people saying, I wish I had it every month. And I was like, I could do it every month if I thought someone could afford it, because I have them, but money's tight for everyone, and it's a little tough for people. But yeah, I could do every month with very easily. So we'll see if whatever gets popular enough. I don't know when I would release the spinoff, because like I was thinking about it the other day when there was an artist that I was considering hiring for the spinoff, and then I'm like, when would I do the Kickstarter? Like, I already do every other month. I would have to do like in between, and people will kill me. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. So I'll figure it out. But for now, we'll see how these go. We're usually getting around 100 backers. I think if we can get above 200 at some point, we'll probably start the spinoff. If we can consistently get over 200 backers, we'll probably do the spinoff and figure out how to do that. And I am working on the point of view and the origins ones, because people are really interested in those. They want to know, what happened to cause issue 1. And that's where I was like, oh, I could do an issue 0. So I'm working on that. So you get to see what happens right before that. It's going to be a big issue, of course, because you've got 6 point of views. And I said, oh, I'm going to do 4 pages each, but I already did the first point of view Davies. And I'm like, I don't know if that's 4 pages. But Davies, like, I could literally do a whole issue because he's done so much in their, from the beginning, from when they were teenagers on. So it's like, how much do I want to tell, and how much do I want to show, and all that. So it's tricky, because I want to tell everyone everything. That's how I am. Lori yells at me all the time. She's like, stop telling everyone everything.
Can't tell the whole story, or you won't have any customers.
Cool stuff. But yeah, I know. But there's so much going behind the scenes. There's so much lore to it, and there's I mean, it's just got so many things going on that I can't explain how cool it is, because I'd get in trouble. But like with with her father, he's using that. Both fathers are after the Seraphina. They want to get the angelic weapon from her, and they have to kill her to get it, and all this stuff. But there's another reason the father wants it, and he's using the war as an excuse to get resources from heaven to do it. But there's another reason, and it leads back to Asma. And somebody asked me today in an interview, they're like, are they actually like really friends, the two fathers? And I was like, no. I was like, the demon has grand old time, torturing the angel, but no, the angel does not like him. I say it's like Good Omens, because they banter back and forth, but they are not friends, and they will never be. So yeah, it's a little tricky there. But someone's like, oh, I think they could be friends. Like, nope. If you knew what was going on behind the scenes, you would not think that they were friends. No. But yeah,
it's like Michael versus Lucifer. It's always going to be one of those things. Like, okay, yes, they were together, but guess what? Now they hate each other.
Yeah, and they're both equally horrible creatures. Obviously, the demon more so. The angel was pushed to do what he's doing, and if people knew, they'd kind of get it, but he's still doing things that he shouldn't. And and it's so funny, because he pretty much follows. So we follow the scripture pretty good. I did a lot of research on the characters, and a lot of their jobs and how they were in mythology and scripture. And there was one trait that I missed, because it wasn't in the original books that I read. I don't know why, it's such an important part. But Remnal, who is the angel that judges souls on heaven and on earth and brings them to heaven, which is how the whole feud started. He used the weapon to create Seraphina, which I did not realize at the time was exactly what he did in scripture. He's the one that created the first Nephilim, which is part angel, human. So he kind of did that with her. She's got the souls of humans, but she's got the powers from him and the powers from the mom, which is a goddess. So it was just kind of funny that I used that character. He's actually what started the whole thing. I created his story first, 14 years ago now. So he's what started it. I created the angelic weapon 14 years ago, and the rest of the story kind of went around it. So that's kind of how it happened. But I held on to that story for 11 years until I found my co-writer. And then I said, do you want to do a story? The first day I met my co-writer, so you want to do a story? And my co-writer is like, sure. And we celebrated 3 years of writing 2 weeks ago. So we ordered pizza and watched The Evil Dead. So it was all good.
Hey, you cannot go wrong with The Evil Dead.
Right?
like I'm a huge horror guy, you know that.
Yeah.
So like we decorated the house on the first day of October,
Yeah.
and so like we got all of it, and I do an annual, 30 days of horror,
My
you
favorite
know,
holiday. Yep.
so it's like we watch a movie every day, at least one. And so, and for like my wife, she's not huge into horror at all, but she'll watch it, with me, and I'll explain to her like what horror is, what's gore, what's giallo, the different genres of horror, suspense and thriller, and she gets it, she understands it.
Right.
Um, and the best part is like being able to bring somebody into that kind of world. And then same way with comics, bringing somebody else into the world of comics through a story like this, like Michael, he's been used in so many comics over the ages, and
Hmm.
he's always that guy, that bad guy. Like if you've ever read Dawn, from Michael Eisner, he is not a good guy. He is one of those guys.
Yep.
That's why he's an archangel. He is the hand of God to stop bad things.
Yep.
Um, it's the same way.
Yep.
It's like you've got to know the background. That's why the prophecy. That's one of my
Yep.
favorite movies of all time. With Christopher Walken as Gabriel. Michael shows up and causes so much hell for everybody. But guess what? Gabriel's like, nope.
Yeah, there's a lot about prophecy in this one, which if people caught it, Camiel does mention it. He's like, don't you think it's weird that the prophecy, came into tuition when I separated them and it wasn't supposed to? And the, Remnel's like, no, do your job. And so there's a lot about that in the past too. But yeah, and it was so meant to be the way these characters were created, because when we started with it, we actually didn't even know their fathers. Well, I knew hers,
Hmm.
but I didn't know Draven's. We knew it was a demon. We hadn't had a name for it. And like partly through like book 4, we're like, we should probably have a name for him. So my co-writer found him, and the more I read about him, he was perfect. He's a chaos demon who
Yep.
feeds on souls on the Judgment of Bridge. But what made it even more perfect, besides all that, and we didn't know this because we found out later on, he's Remnel's only weapon is pretty much his lightning, his sword and his lightning. And Asma is actually immune to all lightning, both magical and natural. So, like, how could you not get a better, two together? So that's a lot of fun. That just every time something happened, it was like it was meant to be. And the spinoff, she has a rat guardian called Apollo, who I liked because I wanted to put a sun around his eyes.
Hmm.
But I did, which I do have a plushie with. So he's the plushie. So he's got the little eye thing going on. He is her guardian. And what happened with him was I did not know at the time that Apollo was the lord of the rodents. Like, it was just the perfect choice. And then I said, okay, we'll have it that Apollo sent, the rat down to be her guardian. And then later on, when we came up with the mother's name, which we hadn't had yet, it was just happened to be that the mom and Apollo were best friends. So everything's just meant to be.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you think
Yeah.
about like the story is really evolved too. Like, and the
Yeah.
characters that are being brought into it
Yeah.
just evolves the story even more. But that's the thing too. Is like you look at, okay, you've got angels, demons, Egyptian gods.
And
It's
Greek
like
gods that you haven't
and
seen
Greek
yet. Yeah.
gods. Yeah, and
Yeah.
so like the only thing really left after that is Norse.
Yeah.
You bring in Odin, you
We're
bring in a
coming.
Thor. Exactly. See, that's where I'm going. It's like
Yeah.
you bring all the different pieces into it, and then you start realizing, like, a lot of this could go together.
Yeah.
Just for this reason, like the
Yeah.
story based upon what it is.
Series 2 has more of everything. Like you have all, so series 2, there's a war that breaks out between heaven and hell side with each other over something that happens in the end of the book. So heaven and hell go against my characters. So Anubis and his army of mummies and Hecate and Hades and their zombies team up with mine. And then the Celtic joins the heaven and hell side. So we're going to have Norse, join our side. But my characters have a really hard time with this because they're fighting alongside mummies and zombies that they have been killing the entire series. So I'm looking forward to writing that. We've written like 10 issues into it, but we haven't gotten to the wars yet, which I'm super excited for. But yeah, writing all these characters is just so much fun, and I love researching them. I've always been into all these different, Celtics and Greek, and I love them all. So I'm super excited. Cersei and Hecate are already going to be in the issue 0. So I get to see them, and Hades is there, and of course Anubis, and probably the hippo. I always forget to say his name wrong, but the hippo that eats the souls from Anubis, he's going to be there. And Hecate will probably be as the frog. She'll switch over from the gorgeous chick because in Egyptian she's a frog for whatever reason. And then I'm probably going to just add the cat because I love having the cat there with Anubis. So we're going to probably do a lot of Egyptian things. And I've been told that I should do a spinoff of just Anubis. So that might happen eventually because he's everyone's favorite. And I'm probably going to figure out how to use that. So I'm going to work on that too. I have so much to do. And if it wasn't so lazy, it'd already be done. But I'm going to be writing most of that this weekend because I have 4 more days off. So score. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, if you can, bring some more Egyptian side into it, you saw the pyramid, the One Piece, it's like if you could bring in Ra and bring in, some of those other like Nefertiti, like those kind of situations, that would really be great for the Anubis side of the story. Hey, where did he come from? Where did the gods come from? Where did the Egyptian god? It's like, okay, it's all part of that.
A cool story. I mean, originally, before the hippo ate the souls, it's pretty much thought that Anubis ate the souls. So he's got his own little backstory. He's a jackal, and they don't even know why they picked them. Mostly because they're scavengers. They figure that that's why they picked the jackal. But yeah, he's got such a cool story, and I don't think he's gonna talk. Like I was trying to think of how I would have him when he's in the epilogue that I wrote. And he pretty much just growls. So he's kind of like, I am Groot kind of thing. But I haven't decided if he's going to think or not. But probably not because he's just, I don't know. He's just there kind of angry all the time. So I'll figure out how he'll do it. Maybe he'll talk in the spinoff. We'll see. Or growl or whatever. But yeah, I love Egyptian stuff. So I'm all for that. Yeah.
Have it where, his voice was taken away from him.
Well, his voice is actually now because Remnal has the remote control. So the remote control is controlling Anubis and he can't talk. So he could have a voice in the point of view. So he probably won't talk a lot. He'll probably be like, Draven, short sentences and stuff. But we'll figure that out. I'm also going to have puzzles and stuff in hieroglyphics. And it's so funny because I have this thing I did in high school. And he's not in it. Horace is in it, and Horace is definitely going to be in the point of view because I love Horace. But I made this heavy freaking wood thing in art class in high school. And I remember needing to do it, but it didn't have to be on wood. And I don't know why I tortured myself putting it on wood, but here it is in wood. So I'm looking forward to I'm going to be doing some of the art myself for some of the, some of the add-ons and stuff like that. Like I've been making clay salamanders, and I want to kill my artist for giving him all these teeth. So I used to do clay a lot when I years ago, and I just organized my room. I don't think you knew, but my room got flooded from the AC unit, and it would have ruined 2 whole boxes of comics, but which is like 300 comics. But fortunately, they were all bag and boarded, and they're fine. But I didn't want to go through insurance or anything, but we didn't know that the floor had been wet for 10 days. So I was terrified of mold and everything. So we had them come in. And I don't know if you ever hear malicious compliance, So the insurance originally told us that they would pay for the broken AC unit that cost us $500 that was leaking. They originally told us that they would fix it. And then when my husband called back to get they're like, no, we're not covering the $500. So I was like, great. Now I'm at 500 for the floor and whatever, $1,000 for the deductible. So they're like, oh, you can get a contractor to come in. And I was like, okay. So we had a contractor come in, give us a quote. And I was like, listen, I just need like $2,000 to cover the floor. And he's like, well, I'll do whatever. And they'll give you whatever. And it wound up being like $7,000. So
Oh my gosh.
I was like, should have just paid for my AC unit. So yeah, so with that, we put a new floor in, we painted everything. Now I have my workstation. I have a desk now. I used to use the workstation for both, so I'd be moving the computer, and so now I have that all set up, and I'm super excited to be somewhat organized. Which, by the way, I am not an organized person, so it's I spent 30 minutes looking for my pins the other day and realized that I put them away. I was like, that's weird. So, so I didn't think to look where they normally go. So that's how unorganized I am usually, but now I'm getting organized because the comics to me, it's so life changing. Like a lot of people make this and they're just like, yeah, I'm making a comic book. This whole thing is totally, changed my life. Like everything's different. And when I was gift wrapping these things, I was like, just feels like it's meant to be. Like, I hadn't planned on making comics, as you know. I was a role player. I was dyslexic. I didn't think I could write. And after we had all these, I'm like, I need to do something with this story because it's just an amazing story. And I'm really glad I did, even though I use those famous words. How hard can it be?
Oh,
but but now I'm on my way. I have a whole book 1 done, and that's very it feels so good to have that, at least that one book done, and I already planned to book 2. So book 2 is going to be done, and then if Kickstarters stay where they are and keep going, then I could do book 3. So I'm just hoping that we can. But book 3 is my favorite, so we can do book 3. But I'm hoping we could do them all. I love the story. I love the characters. I love the art. I love everything about it. So I feel very, very, very lucky that I've gotten this far, especially in a year.
That's the thing is like you've done more in 1 year than some big companies do in 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Just because of the sheer, how much is coming out, and my other company I work with, Ethereal, is the same way. Like they're pulling stuff out like every other month, and it's a hard thing to do when you're doing like multiple variants and multiple covers and
It is not cheap.
story. And like, on our side too, it's like there's multiple stories, different stories. It's not just one consolidated. So trying to manage artists, writers, everything. I mean, it's a big change.
Yeah.
But at least with yours, it's consecutive, and we know you're going to come out every other month. You're going to have that, so you can plan for that.
Yeah.
Especially from Kickstarter. And you think about it. How many places can you call out where you're going to have 7 issues in 1 year? So you're talking 14 issues in 2, maybe 21 in 3 total. And so you're having 3 full books done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same, almost at the same level of where you have a Marvel or DC putting out a book a month.
Yeah.
You think about 12 issues a year, it's kind of the way they do it, so it's kind of like it takes time, but
yeah,
it's a big feat.
It's and we don't stop. Like I've been told, you could slow down, and I was like, I can't. Like it's such an addiction, and I can't slow down. And my artist is fast, and I don't want him to go out and get more work, so I'm just like, keep going. And I also want to get ahead. Like by the end of the year, 8 and 9 should completely be done. And that way, if he does need to go away for a month, or he does need to take a break, or there's an emergency, we're not scrambling to get it done. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to be ahead, at all times. And eventually, if we get even more popular, I'd like to, like hire a letterer, because there's 2 things my artist hated. He hated coloring, so I got a colorist, and he hates lettering. So hopefully, eventually, I can get a letterer, and then he can even go faster, because that lettering slows him down the most, and all that. But yeah, we're growing. I mean, now we have a colorist who's doing an amazing job, Matt Chambers. And I do love the work. He makes it look, there's like a brightness to it, even though it's dark, So it's kind of cool to see that. And I love my artist coloring. But I think that Matt does level it up a little bit. Even my artist will tell you coloring was never his forte. just learning as he goes. But Matt Chambers has been doing it for a while. He does Laurie's, as you know.
Yep.
So he does, and he's a huge Resident Evil fan, and that helps. I mean, I think he even has the license plate for Resident Evil. So that definitely made me feel good, because I was intrigued that he came and he wanted to be on it. And I was like, yeah, I'll hire you. And I thought it was just so he had more work, but he's like, no, I love Resident Evil, and he's getting these colorings out a lot faster than I thought he would. And he's just like, I love these salamanders. And I was like, I know. And the zombies in the straitjacket he was not planning for. So yeah, book 2 is even going to be more exciting, and I can't wait for that to start. January 8th. Like, I hate waiting. It was supposed to be January 23rd. I was like, oh, that's too long. So now it's January 8th, because I didn't want to wait.
Do it now.
Yeah, I just I did all the math, and I was like, oh, it's not going to be by Halloween, and I have to wait an extra month, and so I think January 8th is just enough to people to get their money spent on Christmas and hopefully be able to back it. So but yeah, I'm excited for everything. I just love, in case you couldn't tell, I love the story. So,
which is, I mean, it's good, because I mean, you have such an enthusiasm about the book. You want to see it be good. You want to see it be good for other customers and readers, to make sure, like, hey, they enjoy the story.
Yeah.
And it shows. If you look at your Kickstarter, you're already funded within X amount of days already. So people are going to be habitually supporting the book. Keep going with it, I can't wait to see what the hardcover looks like. I'll just say it's gonna look good for you guys out there.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge hardcover guy. Like, I buy omnibus, I buy compendiums, and, because I like reading a full story. Sometimes the one issue kills you as a reader.
Man, I had to buy 500, so I obviously spent a lot on the hardcovers, but I could not resist the hardcover. Like, a soft cover is great and all, don't get me wrong, but like, hardcover is just so permanent. It's just this amazing heavyweight book that just makes it feel like, I don't know, it feels like I accomplished something. And, like, again, don't get me wrong, trade paperback obviously and softcover is accomplishing something, but to me, hardcover is like hardcore. Like, I'm just like excited. Nope. So I feel very, very lucky to have the opportunity to get that. And I can't wait to bring it on. I mean, the Kickstarter is only going to be like a week long when I do it. It's going to be like, it'll be, obviously you can also get it in book 2. You can get it there, but there's a lot of people that want it for Christmas, and we're hoping to get it out. But I don't release anything till it's in hand. So it takes a long time to do 500 and the shipping and all that fun stuff. So we'll see. I'm just crossing my fingers that it comes soon, because I just want to, I can't show anybody, and I want to show everybody. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm excited. I want to see it evolve, get better and better over time. And then, like I said, I want to see you at the table with Lori next year. And that way I can come shake your hand in person.
Yeah.
So congratulations. You've done amazing. Keep it up.
Yeah. By then I'll probably be like hardcover too.
Probably, because we do it in October. Like, usually it's like the first week of October we do Cowtown. So,
well, we're trying this time. We're trying to get the hardcover out faster, because that's why we're kind of getting ahead too. So that way we can, for Halloween, have that hardcover. So yeah, if we can, if it's at all possible. Obviously, you don't know how the world turns. Anything can happen. But if at all possible, I want to have both hardcovers by next Halloween. So.
That would be awesome. Yeah, for me, it's like, I like to reread books, especially in hardcover or softcover, because you go back and you pick up on little things that you didn't read before. Even reading it digitally, like, you can expand it, see it, whatever. Yeah,
and did you find all the Easter eggs? Because you're gonna have to go back and find all the Easter eggs.
Exactly. It's like, now I'm gonna have to go find, like, when you showed the glaive earlier, I'm like, all right, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah. It's a lot of 90s movies, because those are when I watched the most horror movies. My first movie ever was Nightmare on Elm Street 3 when I was 6. So, like, there's obviously a Nightmare on Elm Street in one of those books. There's at least 2 Resident Evil Easter eggs. There's another one in book 2 that I just added. I was like, I don't have an Easter egg for chapter 2, when I added Resident Evil. So Yeah, you have to find the fine line of I mean, I think I could get away with copying exactly, but I had to change things, you know, just a little bit, so I'm not like, oh, this is this. Like I'll give off the Easter egg for issue 2 is the typewriter from Resident
Yep.
Evil, and it says chaos on it. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it has
Yep.
the little ink cartridges on the side. I
Yep.
had to add that in there. And that took some maneuvering because I had to tell my artist, like, no, you have to see the ink cartridges, do it again.
Yep.
It's got to have the ink cartridges. So, and then instead of I forgot what it was called in Resident Evil, but I had to change it to chaos. So he wrote the chaos in the way that you write the other name, and I was like, make it look fancy. So yeah. So good times, and it's fun to come up with Easter eggs. As long as you don't forget them. Like that's the worst. Like don't forget the Easter egg. And then people will be like, why? What? It's got to be here somewhere. And they read it like 4 times. Like I can't find the Easter egg. So yeah. But we'll announce it. If I'm assuming someone's gonna find them all. Lori can't because I label in the scripts what they are.
Yeah,
so she can't.
Lori can't.
She was so upset.
She does her own too with her book.
Yeah.
Hers are complicated. I started doing hers on the first issue. Like, holy crap.
Yeah. So her books are amazing, and it's so funny because I thought she just had a Kickstarter because I just got her books in the mail. And I was like, she's like, oh, we're launching. And I was like, already? And she's like, it's been 6 months. I was like, really? I was like, really? So time flies, really.
It does. Like literally, I mean, it was really good timing for Cowtown because I got the book from her, you know, for issue 4 that came out. And then luckily William was there, got them both to sign it. But it was like a week or so right before. And then the day before, I got Ferryman Tales, you know, from Chris.
Yeah.
And I was like, good. Now I can go read. I don't even have time to read this book. I just get to bring it to the convention.
Yeah. I had a lot of people that were like wanting to get the books before they went away, whatever. I'm just really excited to hear how people liked, you know, Lori. It's so funny because Lori read, obviously she read issue 7. She's like, this is your best one yet. And then she read issue 8 or chapter 1. She's like, this is your best one yet. I was like, I know, it just gets better and better. So it's really funny that it, and my artist is loving all the action. He's an action holic, and writing things blowing up in book 2, he's having a ball. And when I sent him the script for chapter 2, he was so upset because he went on vacation for this week for the whole week. And every day he's like, I want to get back and draw. I was like, yeah, well, I'm having withdrawals from not getting my pages. So he wrote me today. He's like, I'm home. I'm starting tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So I'm waiting for my I want my pages. But yeah, he gets into it as much as we do. And it's nice that he's not just a paid artist, you know.
Yeah.
He really loves the story. Yeah, he loves the story, and he loves the characters, and you could tell there's love on those pages when he's drawing. And you know, the panel work is all him. You know, we've been praised for both the panel work. Mostly people love the panel work. The bond between the 2 main characters and the dialogue is what we hear the most. Which makes me happy because technically the only writing of mine you see is the dialogue. So it's nice when people say they like the dialogue. But yeah, so I'm just very lucky that he was such an amazing find. Like I got so lucky on there, and everyone's shocked that the one artist did the whole book, the whole book 1. They're like, I can't believe you have it. I was like, hey, I went through it with the 5,000. I earned it. Yeah, to waste that 5,000. I technically wasted 9,000 because I had another. Again, if you think about it, I have 9 books out because I actually have one issue of the prequel done, but it's another artist, and it's good, and it's available. It was available as a stretch goal. I haven't added it to the back because the dialogue isn't as good, and it didn't fit the panels. I didn't realize I couldn't afford the lettering right away. So I did not understand that he didn't speak English very well or read English very well. So some of the panels don't fit as well as they should. And that book cost me 4,000 to make. So I pretty much lost that 4 and the other 5. So we'll try to salvage it, but it's probably just going to get redone anyway. But it just sucks because my very first 2 books were $9,000 and I couldn't make any money off of them. But we're moving on regardless. But yeah, if you think about that, I got 9 done. So just forget about those 2. But yeah. So anyway.
So I was going to ask the question about Redemption 1, the original version.
Mhm.
Will you ever put that out so people can get it?
I have I think I have 25, maybe 20 or 5 issues left printed. So yeah, I might add it to the maybe book 2. I'll add it to the add-on if anyone wants it, because I do have them printed and they're there. And who knows, maybe they'll be rich and famous. You want one?
I want one.
All right.
You have my address already, so
yeah. If you want, I could add it as an add-on to here, and you could add it on.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, all right, that works for me. And I'll announce it and say that I'll put them out there. I think I'll probably put 10, and we'll see if anyone wants to buy it. But yeah, you'll get to see the original art, which I did like it. When I took both issue 1s to the comic book store, they said it was really great for indie art. But the new one is actually great for mainstream. So they're both great. But the new artist is just like a level up. He's got the talent for it. But the first one is just a little bit more cartoony, and I kind of liked it. I kind of liked the cartooniness. Obviously I'm in love with the new artist's work, but yeah, I did like the first one. So yeah, I'll add it and I'll make an announcement. And we'll have that. No.
Hey, I'm just trying to make you money.
Yeah. You just want to read it.
I do. Because I'm a huge guy. I like seeing the original, like what the original was built like, and then I've already read the regular one. Because even Mark did that before. Mark had the original stories for like Miss Me Out, Death Rage, and then they went back and remastered them and redid them because they're like, well, we don't really think this fits together well, so they rewrote it, and it makes more sense in the new version. But the old version had some better art, so it's like, which is better? Well, you let the reader figure that out.
Yeah. And the art matches the spinoff. Because that was the same artist that came back and begged me not to report him to the cops. So not that I can really do anything. I mean, but what I did was I froze their PayPal account. I didn't have a leg to stand on because I paid with friends and family, but because I stalled it so they couldn't get paid. So so they begged me to, and I felt bad even though they stole $3,000 from me. But I got a spinoff issue from it, so it is what it is. But yeah, I'll announce it and I'll add one to it. Let you know.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, we've been here about an hour and a half, which is always fun times. So
time flies.
So I'm going to put out in the link below. Make sure everybody goes out and checks this out.
Yeah. Follow the link or hi.
Hey,
yeah. So you could follow the link. You could also, the best way to find us is searching Worthy Chaos on Kickstarter. We're the only thing that pops up. Also, I bought a domain, so theworthychaos.com will also get you to the Kickstarter. Good times.
Yep. So everybody go back the book. Like I said, she's got some great tiers. If you've never read it, then definitely do the catch-up tier so you can get caught up on everything, whether it be digital or if it's physical, if you're a physical reader. But there's one more thing I kind of want to show that you showed me, a little black and white thing that you showed me. So I'm going to see if this will actually work. I've had a couple
people do like the catch-up tier in PDF, and then the next campaign they do the physical catch-up tier. So just jump ahead and do the physical tier.
Exactly.
Save yourself the $20 from the PDF.
Exactly. Let's see if I can do this. This thing never wants to work right.
Oh, is this the Resident Evil one?
Yeah. The one you sent me earlier.
It's going to be amazing. It wasn't supposed to be until April, and I was like, no, that's got to be January.
Yep.
I could not wait for April to use that. Are you kidding me? Yeah. He needs to do more. He said he had a blast doing it. But it was so funny because he picked the design. And then he goes, I'll send you it in 2 days. And then a week later, I was like, how's it going? He's like, this is way more work than I thought it was going to be. And I was like, I'm so sorry, but you picked it. So
Exactly.
he tortured himself. I had nothing to do with it. But it's just such an amazing cover. I'm gonna have a black and white version. I'm gonna have a colored version. I'm gonna have stickers and prints because it just deserves everything it can get. So yeah. If it's not, there you go.
There you go, folks.
Look at the detail on that. Man, he's phenomenal. This is the artist, Jeremy, how do you say his name? Rapak?
Repack, yeah.
Yeah. He worked on Resident Evil, but he worked at Marvel, DC, IDW, Blizzard, Capcom. He's the interior artist of Injustice. And yeah, the detail is just phenomenal. And I love the way the Hellhound looks like a freaking bear that's going to tear you apart. So absolutely love it. It technically should be for book 3, but we are not waiting that long. It is going to be January 8th. And I already told him, I was like, you're doing more for book 3. So, you know, it's Resident Evil and he just needs to do all the zombies. So yeah, there's so much action in this, you know, and the detail of the zombies is just phenomenal. So
and I love how they look. Like each zombie has their own look to them. They're not just
different. Yeah, completely different.
So many times you see them like they're the same thing, walking the line, doing the thing. But you got like redneck with a hat here.
Yeah. And the more you look at it, the more you see. You know, like there's little ones in the background, and you know, the one has the sword sticking out of it over here, and this one's getting shot, and this one's getting stabbed. I mean, it's just, yeah. And I told him nothing. I was like, I want Anubis, the Hellhound, and my 2 characters. He was like, okay. I was like, all right. And I was nervous because this is the most expensive I've ever spent, and it's only inks. And I didn't know it at first because I was like, oh, it's colored, right? He's like, no. And I was like, oh, all right, I already said it, so let's do it. Yep. But when I got it, I was like, worth every penny. Worth every penny.
And this is one where the inks make it look good versus where sometimes the inks can make it look bad.
Yeah.
If it's like covering up too much of the detail, but this just makes that detail pop out.
I'm gonna get it wood etched, and someone already bought one. So because I have somebody that buys all my wood etchings. I have I think I've had 2 so far. Both Ken Hunt's covers are etched in wood, and he bought both. And then this one's gonna be etched in wood. He already wants it, so that'll be added to that. But yeah, it's just gorgeous, and I'm pretty sure the color is going to make it even better. So it's probably going to be the metal tier.
I like this one. I would want in metal just because of the way it looks. You know,
it's got to be in metal, and I'm hoping CC Dela Cruz can do it. I whined to her because she's like, I'm super busy, and I was like, I understand. And originally it was April, so she had plenty of time. And then yesterday I was like, unfortunately, you can't do it. And because it's got to have January. She's like, when do you need it by? I was like, by December. She's like, okay, I'm going to try to finish my book in the next week. And then I'm going to try to work. And I was like, yes, please try to work on it. So we're hoping that CC Dela Cruz from Lady Death Universe can color it and we'll go from there. But yeah, it's going to be phenomenal. I'm so excited.
That's going to be awesome. And I know CC too. She's always busy. Her and Ulama. Always busy. I mean, I think the last one, and she's always like a month late. So I'm like, listen, you can't be late this time. I usually give her like a wide berth, you know, so she's like, and that's why I said December, because I want it by December, but it needs to be by January. But if I said by January, I wouldn't get it till March. So I'm like, I need it by December. So I can't guarantee it's going to be her. I'm just hoping that it's going to be her. So we'll see, because she's my top choice, and I want to do it. My second choice was one of the Resident Evil colorists, but neither one got back to me. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. There is a supernatural colorist, but I don't know, that color looks more like, and it's not bad, don't get me wrong. It's more like watercolor, and I feel like this one needs to be darker, you know? That needs to be dark. I mean, like Sanju and Imanju would be good with that. But some of these guys are just like so busy. Like I know Cece was doing like 5 covers at once at one point, you know, and it's like
she did my hardcover cover, and it took her like 3 months to do it. And she was a month later than she said she was going to be, but I had planned for that. So I was like, I was ready. Actually, by the time she actually finished it, I think it was like the day before I was sending out the file. So it actually worked out perfectly. but it makes me panic because she's just so busy, and I don't want to bother her, and I don't want to piss her off because I'm just like, please don't stop doing my covers. But she did both the front and back covers of the hardcover. And it just looks phenomenal, and I think it's going to sell really well because just looking at that art is just like, give it to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say like like April Reyna's good too as a colorist, but Nia Rufino, Sabine Rich, but we both know how expensive Sabine is. She's very, I mean, I just saw her like in Cowtown, and she definitely charges a lot, but her art has changed now. She's not doing the strict, like coloring. She's doing watercolor art now. So it's a little bit different, but like.
Yeah.
Sanju's always good, but he's always busy. Like I think he's worse than CC De La Cruz is
Really?
because he gets hit with so many companies wanting him to do it.
Yeah. See, when it was April, it was fine, but now it's January 8th, and I'm like, who can I get by then?
Yeah.
So we'll see. And I don't know, if worse came to absolute worth, and I would do it, I would have another colorist do it, and then she'll redo it, and we'll have it remastered for the next, But yeah, I'm gonna hold out as long as I can for her and see if she can do it. I have 2 months. She has the rest of October, which technically just started. She has all of November and technically all of December. But I also want to advertise with it, so the sooner she gets it done, the better. But we can't bug CC. We just have to let her do it.
No, she's so busy. Like when I message her, it's usually for something specific. It's like I know she's so busy.
I think she likes it though, because as soon as I sent her the cover, she's like, "Ooh."
Exactly.
So yeah, so I'm excited. But yes, that cover will be issue 8. It's how we're wording it. It's book 2, chapter 1, issue 8 in the series. Because that's how I heard Marvel does it. Because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't want to just do issue 8 because it is technically a new book. Plus, I feel personally that the higher the number it gets, the less likely a new person comes in. Because would you really want to come into like issue 21 and then have to figure out the rest? But again, like I said, they are technically separate books. So it is going to be advertised as book 2, chapter 1. So we'll go from there.
Which makes sense. Like, the old comics used to do that, volume 1, volume 2, and then they start number 1 over, based upon the storyline.
And I told my artist that for the love of all, do not edit the spine, because I do not want to hear that they don't line up when we have all 5 books of the spine. So I'm like, for love of all, you have to leave the spine as is. Just save it, just change the number each time. It'll be fine.
Exactly.
So hopefully that works out, because I will get beat down so hard for that. But yeah.
Oh, my OCD would be playing into effect at that point.
I've already heard it. I've already heard it, because the first time I got the proof for the print, the spine of the words "Worthy Chaos" were just a little bit off-centered, and everyone in my chat had a fit, and I was like, you have to redo it because it's not centered perfectly. And I was like, it didn't bother me because it was actually the word "Worthy Chaos" I was like, well, it's chaotic. But I was able to change it, so I'm like, hopefully it'll look better this time. So yeah, centered.
All right, everyone, go join the Kickstarter. Thank you, Miss Corissa, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll definitely have you come on again when we get ready to do that book. Let me know. We'll definitely do this again.
Absolutely.
Have fun.
Thank you. It was good. It was good seeing you again. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody out there in YouTube. And thank you for our 2 watchers who've been here pretty much the whole time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pop, Rick, and Andrew who've been here. It's always a pleasure talking to you guys, and hope you guys have a great weekend. It's a 3-day weekend here in the States, so enjoy it if you can from work. And then just take a little bit of time for yourself to enjoy some time off. So, all right, this has been your redneck from Texas, Nate. This has been the Miss Corissa Grant from Worthy Chaos. You guys have a great night, and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you.
Later, y'all.